Okay, I guess from an introduction, I do come from a farm. My family still is in dairy farming in New Zealand. I have a brother that unfortunately has had to deal with earthquakes down in Christchurch at present time, so he's having probably not to the same degree as flood has affected dairy farming here in Australia, but definitely closed his operation down for 2 or 3 days while electricity wasn't available. The point being is that there's a lot of influences on dairy industry as a whole across the globe, whether it be climate, whether it be cataclysmic events like we have in New Zealand, or whether it be the market. And today I want to just talk about the Asian market in particular. Firstly, for those that don't know who Fonterra is, it is a cooperative, a farmer-owned cooperative of 10,500 farmers in New Zealand, albeit we do have a significant presence in other countries when we deal with milk and ingredients at a global level with a number of other farmers, notwithstanding the fact that we have the 1,500 farmers here in Australia, that we have a cooperative intent, albeit they don't have the ownership in the organisation. It's currently the globe's largest dairy exporter in the world. We're handling something like 38% of the world trade when it comes to commodities and dairy ingredients, with annual revenues of around $16 billion, of which we in Australia are a significant part of that. 15,000 employees spread across around 140 odd countries, delivering something like 2.5 million tonnes of dairy ingredient and commodities globally. So no matter where we are in the world, dairy milk is what makes us tick. Today's presentation is around dynamics, what's happening in the Asian market in particular, how we operate in this particular market, and the importance of ensuring that we have a sustainable approach. And it goes hand in hand, I guess, to a certain degree in terms of my recent appointment as GM Sustainability with Fonterra. One of the key aspects that we want to consider also in this talk today is delivering on the nutritional needs of the Asian consumer. That is changing daily. The market itself is incredibly agile and flexible in terms of how it approaches food for that particular market. Dairy has a significant part to play. And what is the Australian role when it comes to supplying dairy nutrition into the supply chain? Our vision as a leading global dairy nutritional company is to be the natural source of dairy nutrition for everybody, everywhere, every day. And one of our key main focus areas in recent times to realise this vision has been Asia and to a certain degree the Middle East, which is two growth markets which share similar attributes and opportunities. Today, the total market itself is quite large. Becoming the natural source of dairy nutrition for consumers in Asia and Middle East is a realistic and achievable goal for not only our organisation, but for any organisation in the dairy market. The market for dairy products in these regions is large and increasing at a steady rate. The total market today is roughly twice the size of Australia. It's worth around just over $9 billion Australian, and currently growing at around 4 to 5%. One of the key parts of this growth has been in recent times China. Over the last decade, we've seen China increase its imports of dairy ingredients significantly to a point where over the last 10 years it's basically doubled, from just on 4% to pretty close to around 8.5 to 9% of total world trade. In recent times, in the last 2 years, and it was noted in a previous conversation, in recent times that has shifted up to about 15 to 16% of world trade, or just over 1 million tonnes of dairy ingredients going into this market. So a market that changes from about 400,000 tonnes to 1 million tonnes in the space of such a short period of time has a significant influence globally and will have an impact for years to come. There is plenty of room for growth. We expect that dairy consumption in these regions will continue to rise, and we see exciting growth opportunities for dairy in Asia in particular. Populations are large, young, growing steadily and becoming increasingly wealthy. Economic growth in emerging Asian markets has been strong and is on a positive trajectory. Western-style diets, albeit you and I might think that may not be the right answer, but Western-style diets are becoming increasingly popular amongst Asian consumers. Currently, the average rate of milk consumption per capita in Asia is around 11 litres per annum. And when you compare this to other developing nations like South America at 57, it's easy to see there's plenty of room for growth not only in the consumption of milk, but in other dairy categories as well. These macro factors which are influencing demand are supported by an increasing interest among Asian consumers in healthy eating and good nutrition. For Fonterra, that is one of the most important factors in our business strategies in this region as a solution for natural dairy nutrition to meet the demand for the consumer's need for nutritious food. Milk is seen by consumers in Asia as a gold standard food, which presents strong opportunities for developing value-added milk-based products that deliver the specific nutritional benefits that consumers are seeking today. While exports from Australia and New Zealand deliver a significant volume of product into Asia, we recognise that we cannot meet all of this demand for dairy products through the Australian and New Zealand exports alone. Quite simply, it's not possible to produce enough milk in either of these countries to meet the increasing demand in Asia. So our focus in Asia has been on building strong trade relationships, investing in market, and adapting on what we know best, how to produce and add value to high quality milk, and to work on the ground in local Asian environments. In China, for example, Fonterra's focus has been on transferring technology and investing in local production. We've invested around $30 million US in a pilot farm in Hangzhou, northeast China, at which 3,200 cows are producing somewhere in the order of around 30 million litres per year. Our strategic focus here has been about disseminating knowledge and helping the local industry players to enhance their own skills and technology. Currently, we only employ 2 foreign staff on the ground, and the remainder of the workforce are local team members. We also have strong trading ties with countries like Sri Lanka, and we're now collecting and processing milk there as well. And we provide a range of services to our farmers on the ground in Sri Lanka and China, disseminating the technical support that we can have out of New Zealand and Australia, training programs, and to help them achieve the high standards of milk production that are desirable for their consumers. Again, this is all about disseminating the skills and knowledge honed in Australia and New Zealand into markets where long-term growth opportunities are strong. We call this approach working behind borders, and it's proving to be a successful model. It's not the only model, but it is a successful one for us, for helping us to develop these countries to meet the rising demand for good, nutritious food, which dairy can contribute to. To be able to deliver on this promise, sustainability is key. And we in Fonterra are only just starting on this journey. You've heard today that farmers are custodians of the land. And I'm sure in other presentations during the course of the conference, a lot of this influence will come out in terms of the primary sector.